私、ドナルド・トランプには夢がある。私は止まらない。
Long ago, in a distant land, a foolish American president, wielding a presidential pen, stepped forth to oppose Vizaku, the shape-shifting master of agenda. You like that? You like that? I don't know. Maybe I'll do a Samurai Jack parody, right? With AI, I'll just do that. I'll just do a Samurai Jack parody where it's Trump. He's got to defeat the payment processors using an enchanted pen, you know? Anyway, you'll have to let me know what you think down below, but that's the news going around. Trump has brought the payment processors to bear. Over here at That Park Place, it's confirmed Trump's executive order could end MasterCard and Visa's gaming censorship. Now, you might be asking yourself, just what happened here? Well, Niche Gamer hits it right out of the park, and he explains right here, Trump signs executive order to contest payment processor censorship. United States President Donald Trump signed an executive order on August 7th, which could have an impact on the ongoing censorship implemented by payment processors. The executive order, titled Guaranteeing Fair Banking for All Americans, addresses the ability of payment processors to punish individuals for, quote, constitutionally or statutorily protected beliefs, affiliations, or political views. Additionally, the bill calls for an end to clauses regarding reputation risk on the part of payment processors. Payment processors like Visa, MasterCard, Stripe, and PayPal regularly claim that objectionable speech represents a reputation risk to their brand and attempts to financially disenfranchise from those content creators. It doesn't matter if the subscriber count never changes. What matters is if we let the subscriber count change us. Every one of us has to find a reason to do this. You don't just climb up in front of a microphone and start spouting off your opinions because you're a YouTuber. You do it because you're driven. And that's going on a lot right now. Left and right, Patreons are disappearing off the map. Different types of, outside of the platform, like your usual YouTube, super chat platforms. Those people are being shut down for your extra content because if it's the wrong kind of extra, it's got to go bye-bye. And these aren't just political problems. These are things that are what is considered adult content that is marked so, that is behind a paywall, that is marked to get access to adult content. It's still not enough. It's got to go. It's a brand risk that people knowingly access this content and are in no way surprised by it because your average 13-year-old has a credit card and they can just do that, right? They can just do that on old Patreon. They can do that, right? Steal mom's credit card, get the 3 numbers on the back. You know how it works. And so this right here makes sure that this stops, okay? Now, it's intended to help Americans like Alex Jones is probably the most popular depiction of what's happened here, okay? Now, I'm just saying that because that's a name you're going to recognize. However you feel about Alex Jones, this process was practiced on him and several others out there that aren't as noteworthy in their pop culture meme-worthy recognition, but there are many out there that have lost access to banking simply because they have said or expressed things that were risky to the payment processors' brands because some random guy on the internet says something, Visa's going to have to shut down, right? That's how it works, right? Global payment processor, and you go saying some magic word out there. But we have an important note here from Emerald Apple, this person that gets around inside of the gaming commentary sphere, and I thought that they captured this pretty well. I also like the smug Asmongold thumbnail here from his channel. Make sure you check out Asmongold TV, like I have to tell you. But anyway, this is what Emerald had to say. Trump didn't just save gamers. He might have saved the West. This is probably one of the most important executive orders that he signed. Censorship of people, organizations, companies, artists, etc. cannot be instituted by payment processors anymore. Doesn't matter if you hate people like Nick Fuentes and people who make distasteful artwork. Promoting and the censorship and debanking of these people will actually lead to the collapse of the West. Without the free exchange of ideas and thought, no matter how distasteful, a functional society cannot function long term. And that's why this is important. There are people that I disagree with, but I don't want to see their ability to survive taken away from them. They are disagreeable people and say very disagreeable things. However, I don't want to see them punished for anything other than the violations of the law that they themselves commit. And these are laws that are already existing, these violence laws, not words or violence, violence, the kind of where people get physically hurt. You know, those people need to be dealt with. However, you feel about the Tate brothers, law must be practiced upon them that is existing law that applies to the physical realm, not the fifi's realm, okay? You can't throw them in jail because they make you feel bad, or like me, they piss you off, okay? You can't do that. They're just out there saying what they're going to say, and they're allowed to do that. We need to be able to have that kind of discussion. The reason being is that simply put, man, if you've got guys out there like Andrew Tate and Nick Fuentes that are just shooting their mouths off, well, guess where you know you don't want to be? It's real easy to avoid people like that when they're rootin' tootin' at the top of their lungs about what they believe that you don't believe. Real simple to stay away from them then. But when they can't talk like that in public, a taboo forms around them. Look what happened with Tate and Fuentes, the forbidden fruit. Now, if you take their ability to bank away from them, they've become a martyr for what they believe. And the little group of people around them that have a cult like appreciation for them now gets to expand into an army who likewise feels disenfranchised. You see how this leads to the collapse of the West? It's not just that we can't talk to each other. It's not just that people will end up banned from being able to buy their groceries, the social credit system, stuff like that. It actually legitimately, and in history, it's documented, leads to horrible, horrible uprisings. Okay? It's just how people function. This is all throughout history. So, this one little executive order, this flick of the wrist from Donald Trump, has averted a major crisis, at least as far as the US is concerned, because out there in the wild, it's still not going great for Collective Shout. They want more controls. Check this out. This is Corleen Allison, Corley. She's the movement operation manager at Collective Shout and a bunch of other gobbledygook there you could take an interest in if you like. You want to pause it, take a look at that. Good for you. So, this is what she is pushing forward here, and here's how it goes. Australian guidelines for the classification of computer games. You remember these computer games? The guidelines use the following hierarchy of impact: very mild, G, mild, PG, moderate, M, strong, MA, 15 plus. High, R, 18 plus. Ooh, very high, RC. Radio controlled? What's this have to do with Tycho? Anyway, very high, RC. Computer games that exceed the R18 plus classification category will be refused classification and illegal to be sold in Australia. So there it is. If your game is, there's a really violent one out there that kind of, that Lollipop Chainsaw game, that probably won't come through because it objectifies women and it's very violent. So that'll probably be banned in Australia. Australian viewers, let us know if the new Lollipop Chainsaw games, the remaster and the new game that they're making, that's the continuation of the story. Let us know if that ends up being banned over there. Just for record keeping. It's not to browbeat you or ha poo hoo, none of that. It's just, if it happened, we probably want to keep a record of it just to be like, well, told ya. We told you guys that was going to keep happening. We need to stop giving these ladies time of day, and we need to make sure that we're defeating what they're saying. We don't need to understand them anymore. They've made it very clear they don't want to be understood. The 6 classifiable elements in a computer game are themes, violence, sex, language, drug use, and nudity. So these are the elements that they're looking for. This is not what defines a video game. This is the elements they're looking for that will trigger a censorship rating or elevate an existing rating, okay? Computer games will be refused classification if they include or contain any of the following: crime or violence. Well, there goes GTA. There goes every game that Batman's gone. Batman's gone. He's a vigilante. Batman does not get a badge. Commissioner Gordon does not deputize him too many times. He's certainly not running around as an official agent of the law in any shape or form. Punisher's gone too. This is before we get into any of this. Like all of this stuff. This is the crime end of it, the violence end of it too. So there goes your fighting games. I'm pretty sure you guys are just going to have a great time in uh, the restaurant games. Yeah, the restaurant games, restaurant simulators. You have a great time there. What could go wrong? So, right here it says crime or violence, and it says detailed instruction or promotion in matters of crime or violence. The promotion or provision of instruction in pedophile activity, descriptions or depictions of child sexual abuse, or any other exploitive or offensive descriptions or depictions involving a person who is or appears to be a child under 18 years old. So, like I said, there goes Lollipop Chainsaw because she's depicted, and I believe she is a high school girl wearing a, typical cheerleader outfit. Maybe the skirt's a little higher than it usually is, but it's not grotesquely higher. Anyway, that'll be gone. Depictions of one, violence with a very high degree of impact, which are excessively frequent, prolonged, and detailed or repetitive. Well, there goes your Silent Hill games. All those ones where Ethan gets his body taken apart over and over again. Well, that's over. Two, cruelty or realistic violence, which are very detailed, which have a very high impact. Ta-da! There goes your Resident Evil games. There goes your Silent Hill games. Most of your zombie games, even. The actual sexual violence, implied sexual violence related to incentives and rewards. So again, with your going in and having sex with a hooker, right, in GTA, guess what? Or excuse me, the collective shout would like me to refer to them as sex worker, right? Because they're legitimate. They made their own decision. Those women are fine. It's the men that enjoy that that's bad. Men create that condition, by the way, not women. Women certainly don't create that condition. However, that depiction, that's over with, especially if you get rough with that sex worker when you are done. And so in games, when sex is depicted, depiction of actual sexual activity will not be permitted. Well, there goes your girlfriend simulators. Depictions of simulated sexual activity that are explicit and realistic are not permitted. So there you go, where you undress the character and tease them and stuff. It's creepy. It's creepy. Don't get me wrong. If that's your thing, I am judging you. Sorry, I am judging you. But it's not illegal. There's nothing illegal about undressing a drawn character. That's a dress-up doll, just with more porn. Maybe. And so it says right here, depictions of practices such as bestiality. Well, there goes Baldur's Gate. Gratuitous, exploitive, or offensive depictions of one, activities accompanied by fetishes or practices which are offensive or abhorrent. So I have to wonder, does that mean 50 Shades of Grey is gone? Are they going to get rid of 50 Shades of Grey? There's a lot of games where women are incentivized to be abusive, physically abusive to like K-pop star looking characters. A Chinese woman divorced her husband over becoming addicted to the BDSM game involving the torture of a vampire K-pop star. And that was her boyfriend. She fell in love with him and divorced her husband. And well, you know how well that went. Number two, incest fantasies or other fantasies which are offensive or abhorrent. So again, this is a particular type of sexual entertainment, very particular, a very niche, if if I might say, and it does exist around in Japanese anime, on and off, where a young character will have a crush on their older character, and so this possibly could end up interfering with that. So if a young sister has a crush on her older brother, again, it's not depicting any sexual activity because it says right there, it does not need to depict any sexual activity. It just needs to be classified as incest. So a young girl having a crush on her older brother will most likely trip that trigger right there. So there you go. And they're pushing for more because they want to update this because the last time it was updated was 2023. So they want to update it with the stuff that they got Steam to take down. Because again, this is not about getting answers, results, or anything like that. This is about power, control. You are not allowed to enjoy the thing in which makes other people like me or other people like Collective Shout uncomfortable. I can live with it. I do this. I go, That's not what I'm into. I'm going to go watch Power Rangers. And then I do. Or Super Sentai, whatever. And that's what I do. No, I don't have a thing for the spandex or whatever. I just like the stories. I think the characters are fun, and who doesn't want to transform into one of those characters and beat the pants off of one of those, rubber suit monsters? Come on. You can't tell me that even at your age, you wouldn't hop into one of those suits and go out there just for one episode, beat the crap out of a dude in a rubber suit. Come on. Come on. Anyway, this is the mess that they've gotten into. Oh, that'll be banned because that's got violence in it. That's got a lot of gratuitous and sustained violence, by the way. There's a lot of that in there. So bye-bye Power Rangers, bye-bye Super Sentai, bye-bye Kamen Rider. Ultraman's definitely going because, like, most of his attacks are cutting characters in half or skewering them through an Ultra Beam. So that's over with. But not to be outdone, they decided in order to declare war on the world, they need a war chest. So here it is from Smash JT. He gets this tip from an email, anonymous email. It sounds like somebody within Collective Shout knows what's going on and is sending this stuff out when the bulletins go out to everybody. So I don't know, Collective Shout. You might have an enemy within. You better make sure all the ladies are ladies, It'd be funny to me if, like, their next meeting, there's just, like, an obvious dude in the background, but he's wearing a dress or whatever and, like, a bonnet and, like, hello, everyone. That's our guy. But don't tell them. They don't know yet. So anyway, they're here begging for money, okay? And as Smash JT is telling us, it says they've been caught sending out emails labeling anyone daring to question their authoritarian approach as enemies. That doesn't sound like something a victim would say. No, that sounds like someone a propagandist would say. That's what a propagandist would say. So it says, Dear Blank, over the last 2 weeks, we have been subjected to the largest coordinated cyber attack in Collective Shout's 15-year history. Our team has been hit with a daily barrage of vile abuse and harassment. We have been bombarded with rape and death threats. Our images have been morphed into porn. We have even been doxxed. Haters, can you believe it? There's haters, Mr. Frodo. There's haters. Haters have circulated our photos and tried to find our home addresses, much of like what they're doing to Smash JT and Savvy. Anyway, back to this. 10 petitions were launched against us, full of false accusations. Elon Musk retweeted one of them. There are currently hundreds of YouTube videos slandering us. How about that? What has caused this vicious pylon? Our enemies are trying to destroy our operating systems. They've gone far after our global allies, charitable partners, ambassadors, and other backers. They've tried to get social media platforms to shut us down. But we won't let them. Your tax-deductible gift today will... That was Bertha, by the way, the mole. Protect the movement. Oh, for $20, $50, $100, $250, $1,000. I don't know if this is dollary dues, like the Australian fund money that, doesn't really work outside of Australia. And I think it's made out of recycled soda bottles. So it's like double worthless. I don't know. Or it could be big fat American dollars. I don't know. But either way, that's a lot. That's a lot to ask of people. There's no $5 option, right? You feel it's like that girl from Twitch. It's like, if you don't have $5, get out of here. Yep, that sounds familiar now, doesn't it? These are like findoms, right? Are these like some really protracted findom thing? Is this like some viral ad campaign for a bunch of their like OnlyFans where they punish? They don't do anything sexual. They just talk nasty to you because you don't make enough money. Is that what this is? It feels like it's turning into that. It's swinging real hard that way. Our opponents will stop at nothing to bring us down. They've made that very clear. That's why we need your help right now to protect our movement, a movement on track for its biggest year of victories ever, including this one. Our enemies, our opponents, the foes, those guys. Our enemies are trying to destroy our operating systems. They've gone after our global allies, charitable partners, ambassadors, and other backers. They've tried to get social media platforms to take us down, but we won't let them. Your tax-deductible gift today will help us protect our cyber systems from malicious attacks. Keep our online spaces free of women haters and trolls. You know, savvy, right? Because they can't label her a woman hater because she's a woman. And troll was the best thing they could come up with. Took the whole group chat, I'm sure. Help uphold our freedoms and rights to continue speaking out about taking away other people's rights. Send a message that we will not be defeated. Yes, I'll help protect Collective Shout. With your support, we will overcome. Thank you, Melinda and the Collective Shout team. My heart. Oh, my heart. Now, deciding that Collective Shout had the right idea, Ireland just up and decided that the Gardaí, that's right, the police, can now just go through your WhatsApp conversations. Yep. That's just free for the old Irish police to take a look through. You aren't up to anything. You don't have anything to hide. Those nudes you were sending that guy you met at the pub, they're gonna have to take a look at those just to make sure you don't have any terrorist writing on there. We don't want any anti-immigrant messaging getting around. You know, that'd be bad. That'd be naughty. We don't like naughty things here in Ireland. You know. So thanks to Packer Girl here, that's Nerdigans. You can find her reporting over on boundingintocomics.com. That's right, we have a website. It says, breaking, Irish government draws up legislation to give the Gardaí powers to monitor citizens' live conversations on, but not limited to, WhatsApp, Instagram, iMessage, gaming devices, car systems, and satellite networks. That's weird, right? That's kind of weird. That last one was a little. Those last two are a little weird, right? Like they just, if your computer inside of your car, like your Tesla or your self-driving whatchamahoosit has one of those systems where you can message through the console. Well, the Gardaí's in your car now. I wonder, do you think they're just going to look at your messages, or you think they're going to see where you are? See if you're hanging out in a place where people they don't like are hanging out. And what kind of messages you're sending right then. You wouldn't want to say anything that might upset the Gardaí. Now, would you? You wouldn't do that. You're a good one. You're a good one. So here it is. Gardaí will have the power to intercept and monitor live conversations on private messaging apps such as WhatsApp, iMessage, Instagram under a reform of surveillance laws used by Irish security services. Jim O'Callaghan, the Justice Minister, will bring legislation to the government to allow the Gardaí, the defense forces, and the police ombudsman to track interactions on modern communications. Track interactions on modern communication devices between individuals linked to potential crimes. Crimes. It's crimes. What those crimes might be? Well, probably saying the wrong thing, mostly. Wouldn't be anybody brandishing a weapon because those people, well, they're just new and they don't understand the culture. You do understand the culture and you say those naughty things, which means you need to go to turbo jail. That's right, it's turbo jail for you and your naughty words. And you know exactly why that's being used in WhatsApp, so they can find out what you said when you thought you were away from them, when you thought you wouldn't be caught. Ta-da! So much for end-to-end encryption, right? So much for that. But if you are tired of all of that, right? If you're tired of everything reading you and monitoring you, Louis Rossmann here, Rossmann, has a suggestion. Now, if you're not familiar with Louis, he is a pretty large YouTuber. He specializes in computer repair, kind of like what Linus used to do and still does to a degree when he's not saying the hard R. If you know what that means, feel free to hit like and subscribe because you're one of the good ones. But anyway, it's not the hard R you think, and it's not the hard R the chat thought when Linus was saying it. You need to go watch the clip. I'm not going to play it for you. You go look for it. Anyway, He says, I started as a studio repair technician at Avatar and started a MacBook component level logic board repair business. This channel shows repair and data recovery work and shows how to perform these repairs step by step. Now, the video we're going to take a bit of a listen to here, we're going to react to, has nothing to do with that. He's talking about the hyper monitoring, hyper ad revenue pushing attitude of modern technology where everything's reading you, everything's trying to steer you places. And this is what he has to say.
Game of Thrones had, I'm not going to spoiler alert, there's this Sons of the Harpy in season 5. They were these people that wore masks and they pushed back against the new regime. And the purpose of the mask was to let the leaders know that when you see people with this mask, we are against you and your new regime, and we are going to push back against it as often as we can. And the worry with the Sons of the Harpy mask is that it starts with one person putting the mask on, and then somebody else gains the balls to put the mask on, and then 20 or 40 or 100 of them put the mask on. And once 100 or 1,000 of them put the mask on, there's nothing that the leaders can do at that point.
And so what he's explaining here is that, together apes strong, okay? That's the gist of what he's trying to tell you is together apes strong.
Enough people have put it on, and enough people have come together with solidarity, and they're going to do something about it. Now, granted, this may not be the best analogy because it was, spoiler alert, they were trying to bring back slavery, and they also were just bad people. Khaleesi kind of became a shitbag at that point, too. But besides, I think that Clippy is like a modern-day Sons of the Harpy mask. If you're tired of companies changing the terms of the sale after the sale and getting away with it, turn your profile photo to a Clippy.
All right, so if you guys don't remember, this is Clippy. Clippy would assist you when you're writing papers with the Microsoft Office program way back in the day. Clippy was an AI. It just simply made suggestions that pertained to the subject that you told it you were writing in. So again, not some massive large language model AI that's reading your letter and hyperanalyzing it, just making general recommendations about how to write a letter in this particular goal. So if you tell it, I'm writing a resume, it'll just simply bring up, okay, here's a bunch of ways to write a resume, not here's your resume. Okay? That was the difference. That's what he's talking about. So let's jump back to the video.
If you're tired of companies that have the ability to reach into your house and ransomware your products so that they stop working unless you pay them again, claiming that that's legal, but then when somebody tries to give you back access to what you bought and paid for, that's illegal, change your profile photo to a Clippy. If you're tired of sex bots invading the comment section on a regular basis, and their comments always posting with no problem, but your comments being censored even when you're not saying anything that bad, change your profile picture to a Clippy. If Google, being one of the premier data mining companies on earth, not being able to tell that little fucking cat with 2 pillows next to it that they try to make look like an ass so that thirsty young men click it as they normalize sex trafficking on the platform that doesn't allow you to express an opinion bothers you, change your profile picture to a Clippy.
And so what he's basically expressing is that if you are not satisfied with the hyper-predatory internet, with the hyper-predatory AI-optimized internet at that, change your profile pic to a Clippy. Not the pregnant one. That's really weird. I'm not going to show you that one. Don't go looking for it. I put it in your head as a warning, okay? It's like Candle Jack. Don't go out there and try it, okay? Avoid the pregnant Clippy one. But there's plenty of Clippies out there you can choose from. If you're the artsy arts type, go ahead and make your own Clippy. Give him a hat. Give him goggles. Give him a gun. Clippy with a gun, huh? I bet you'll listen to those suggestions now, huh? But either way, guys, I just want to remind you, go out there and find yourself a Clippy. Turn this into your profile picture if you are unsatisfied with the situation that is the predatory internet. That's what led to all of this, is the predatory internet trying to drive people around into behaviors. That's why Visa and MasterCard acted the way that they do. That's why Google acts the way that they do. All these different institutions that control your life, like Meta, Facebook, those guys. Same thing with YouTube, which is a subsidiary of Google. They're all there to make sure that they take as much time of your day as they can. And all of this is designed to make you the most consumer of consumers you could possibly be. Anyway, guys, you'll have to let me know what you think down in the comments below. And as always, keep a cool head and good luck out there.